Alright, guys, there's been a global conflict going on for centuries. More like 1.5 centuries, but same thing. And this global conflict, you're probably wondering, what is that global conflict? Well, it is global warming. What is global warming? Well, you see, global warming, well, to tackle that, we're going to have to go through the greenhouse effect, which I'll show you in a second.
So I'm going to show you the greenhouse effect through this little diagram I've drawn here. Please excuse my crappy drawing skills. But anyway, so light from the sun goes through our atmosphere. Sometimes it gets reflected back into space, but usually it doesn't. And it'll be absorbed by Earth here, which will heat it up. And Earth will send out this energy as infrared radiation back into space, but sometimes it will get reflected off our atmosphere back into Earth, heating it up even more. And this is the greenhouse effect right here, as this infrared radiation keeps getting reflected off our atmosphere back into Earth, heating it up even more. And you're probably wondering, well, what's this gas layer made of? So this gas layer is mostly made of carbon, but sometimes you'll see methane and nitrous oxide and fluorinated gases. So carbon dioxide makes up the majority of this gas layer, and this is mostly made from burning fossil fuels, carbon emissions from electric cars and stuff. Lots of stuff makes up carbon. That's why there's so much of it. And the second most thing is methane. Methane is really strong, about 12 times stronger than carbon. And this is mostly made from decaying matter and stuff like that. So you mostly find this in landfills. And then you'll see nitrous oxides, which is usually a byproduct of burning fossil fuels, and not as common as carbon. And then you see fluorinated gases, also extremely potent, meaning that it will reflect a lot of IR radiation. And this is mostly made from factories, industrial processes, stuff like that. So, as there are more gases moving up through into our gas layer, there's a higher chance that this IR radiation will be reflected back into Earth. So there'll be more IR radiation being reflected, which will heat up the Earth even more.
Okay, but I still don't understand. How is there so much carbon in the air if humans have made it all? Well, you see, humans have been burning fossil fuels ever since the Industrial Revolution, which has been increasing the amount of carbon in the atmosphere greatly. And we've been also building landfills, which increases the amount of methane in the air. And this is all very bad for the environment, and we can see the effects through climate change, such as droughts in more drier places, such as deserts and stuff like that. Lots of less rain there. We also see the sea level rising because of polar ice caps are melting, and this is causing many people on the coast to have to move out, or any islanders, that their islands are disappearing very quickly. And then we see many more fires, and this has been wrecking houses. And we see it in Southern California all of the time, bushfires, and causing many people to evacuate. And this is all very, very, very bad. And finally, we're going to have more frequent and stronger tropical storms, such as hurricanes, monsoons, and tornadoes. And this will cause a lot of flooding in areas that are low in sea level, and lots of destruction and costs for this destruction. It's going to be in the billions. And if there's more of them, it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. This sounds really bad. What can I do to change this? I want to reduce the amount of carbon in the atmosphere, make it better. I don't want to die. Well, there are many things you can do. First off, you can switch off to solar energy. This is a renewable energy source, and it's very clean. It won't send any carbon into the atmosphere. You can take public transport. This will reduce the amount of cars on the road, and in turn reduce the amount of carbon emissions in the atmosphere. We can tap into the methane in our landfills, maybe trap it, use it as another energy source, and not have methane going into the atmosphere, methane being one of the most severe greenhouse gases. And then we can The government can build high-speed rails. This will be a much faster mean of travel, faster than flying, which flying increases the amount of carbon emissions a lot, and it's a lot cleaner as most of this is made from energy. We can use bamboo as a building material, as this resource is renewable because once it's cut, it'll just start growing again, and it's very strong. And finally, you can walk, bike, or use electric vehicles to go places, as this will reduce the amount of carbon emissions severely. It'll be extremely helpful. So I hope that you are ready to take this change, make the planet a better place. Oh yes, I will. I want everyone to be cooler, safe, sound, and I don't want our planet to die. Alright, so we're out here in the northern Sierra Nevadas in California. It may seem all green and lush now, but in the summer it gets pretty dry, and there are common forest fires around here in this area. But if global warming becomes worse and worse, in the summer this place is going to get drier and drier because the heat will just soak up all the water. And this will cause more forest fires. And these forest fires, this will burn all the organic material, which will send carbon up into the atmosphere. And another effect is that it will burn away all the vegetation that could be using photosynthesis to clean up the atmosphere, which in turn will make more carbon in the atmosphere, heating up the earth even more, and causing more forest fires, which is less vegetation and more carbon in the atmosphere. And this will go on exponentially forever. And this is an example of a positive feedback loop. So this is one of the major effects of global warming and more death. I hope you liked it. Bye bye.